Hello, my name is Chris Hondel, and I'm one of the founders of Finale Fireworks. In today's video, I'm going to show one of the features that most surprises and delights fireworks professionals around the world, and that is Finale's ability to automatically create visual simulations from fireworks descriptions. To create a simulation, I just go to the Effects menu, I hit Create New Simulation, type in 5-inch red peony, which is the name of the effect that I'm looking for. I hit Insert into Show, and now I get that shell inserted at the current time. There we go, 5-inch red peony. So that was pretty easy, but how many are there? How many can we create? Well, Finale is actually building the simulation on the fly by combining different effects into a single complete simulation. So let's try something a little more complicated. Let's do a red to blue star. We'll do it in a peony, and we'll do that with a, let's just do a silver tail. So you'll note, as I type in the animation search phrase, which is where I'm typing, I describe what I'm looking for, and then below, Finale is showing me the simulation it's going to create. So I typed 5-inch red to blue peony with silver, and with just that information, Finale thinks I need to have a pistol. So I'm going to hit tail here, type in tail, and now I get a 5-inch red to blue peony with silver tail. Let's insert that. There's our silver tail. And the break goes to red to blue. And so Finale isn't just selecting from a fixed set of animations. It's actually building a new simulation on the fly by combining the different parts in the description. And the reason we came to this particular result is when we started, we said, oh, we'll do a few dozen simulations, and that'll be a good start, and people can see basically their shows. And it turned out that wasn't good enough, even close. We added a few hundred, it wasn't even close. We added a few thousand, and still customers would just be spending endless hours trying to find the simulations they needed and match the effects that they had in their inventory. And once we realized that even a single manufacturer's catalog might have tens of thousands of different combinations, we needed a new approach. And so the approach we came up with is one where we're going to construct the simulation from all the parts, just as a manufacturer would be combining different stars, different tails, different burst break patterns to create an effect. So let's try something a little different. Let's do a silver palm. So let's try a silver palm, and let's just put that with silver tail. So it doesn't, of course, have to just be peonies we can do. We can do other effects. So here we get our silver tail and our silver palm. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's try an even more complicated effect. Let's just go back, start working with a red to blue Chris. So a chrysanthemum, so we're going to go with a chrysanthemum effect, which is a star with a bit of a tail. So we're going to have a red peony to blue tipped gold, which is telling me I'm going to have red to blue, and I want to put a core onto the pistol. So we're going to have a green pistol, and let's actually make that falling leaves pistol, so I get that falling leaves effect. And let's put a glittering tail, glittering gold tail. So you'll note that I typed in something that's not exactly the match, and when I insert that into the show, we get that glittering effect in the break, red to blue with my falling leaves effect. And you'll note that on the blue stars, we come back here, they did have that hint of a tail, so it goes from stars without a tail, which are the peony stars, to the chrysanthemum stars that have that hint of a tail. And there we go. And we get the red falling leaves. So this is an example of how you can get a very quite complicated shells through combination. So let's actually try other types of modifications we can do on shells. Let's just go and let's just start with a gold horsetail. Horsetail. And that's going to come up and come down, and that's fine, but you know, I think for our horsetail, we want ours to be a little denser and a little longer. So in addition to combining effects, there are modifier keywords that can be applied to change the density, the brightness, the number, the duration of stars on the thing. So we're going to on the effect. So we're going to go with a 5-inch dense long gold horsetail. So that'll give us more stars and a longer lifespan. We insert that in the show. And let's actually take this one, move it over here, and we can go side by side. So we'll see the first gold horsetail. This is the original one. The stars fade pretty quickly. In the new one, there's more stars, and they're going to live for a longer time. So how much variety of effects are there? Well, there's quite a few base effects we can go with. Let's go with a 5-inch red to blue ghost shell. You might have one of those if you're lucky. Here we go. There's my ghost shell. Like that. Okay, let's do a ring. So let's do a create new simulation. Let's do a red to blue ghost. Even better, let's make it a ghost ring. Red to blue ghost ring. Great. Let's do, again, we can combine other types of effects. Let's do a brocade crown to crackle. You'll note again, as I type, the crackle turns into crackling. Here's our brocade crown, goes to crackle. You aren't getting the sound effects, but the simulation engine also is selecting sound effects as well that match. The crackle gets that type sound. Let's go with a 5-inch stained glass. So my default stained glass, actually I got a 5-foot, that's not going to work. Not quite sure, I think it made it a 5-second if it was going for a cake. So default stained glass is just going to be a gold stained glass. So it'll just be a gold effect. But I can go back, in addition to having stars that transition from one color, I can also tell it to have a mix of stars. So I can have a red and blue stained glass, and so we'll have some of the elements be red and some be blue. And again, if I wanted to add, so I can do red and blue stained glass, red, blue, Chris, red, Chris. So what I'm typing in Chris is short for chrysanthemum, which gives me see what I get here. I think this is going to work. There we go. Yeah, so I wanted to have some tails. So by typing in chrysanthemum, or Chris, C-H-R-Y-S, it adds tails to the stars. So let's go back and just so we can see what that particular phrase is. So I said red chrysanthemum stained glass and blue chrysanthemum stained glass. So I'm getting both red and blue stars with tails in a stained glass pattern. And you'll see that it's turning into a red-tipped gold and a blue-tipped gold. So it's interpreting the blue Chris and turning into a more specific description of what the star effect is going to be. And then obviously creating a simulation. It's a nice effect. Let's delete all those. Of course, we can do other simulations that have, missed menu item. We can do other simulations that have other basic effects. We can do a nice farfalla pattern. That's pretty, but it's even more pretty if we have more of them. So let's just copy and paste, and then paste, and then we'll see a sequence of farfalla rings. There's our basic farfalla. Let's do a more interesting pattern. We can also combine patterns. So we do a 5-inch red peony with tourbillon inserts. Let's make that a sparse red peony, and make that be a small gold tourbillon insert so they don't break quite as hard. Let's insert that, see what we get. So our tourbillon inserts are a little smaller break. If we hadn't had small, the inserts would have been breaking roughly as big as the peony. If I wanted to have even smaller, I'd use a very small, use the very small adjective to make it even smaller. And we have, or we can try other types of propulsion. Let's do a sparse, let's keep on the theme here, sparse red peony with go-getters. Let's delete the previous effect, delete. And so now we get our red peony with the go-getters. And you can see those go-getters coming out of the inserts in the middle. Now, in addition to being able to create single effects, we can create chains and cakes. So let's just start with a simple titanium salute. Okay, let's see what our titanium salute looks like. Insert into show. We just went with a 3-inch. Just real brief, you get a nice bang if we had audio. But now let's say we want to do that in a chain. So we're just going to do 3-inch titanium salute. A lot of people have chains of these in 10, chain of 10. Nice finale. So we get that launch effect, and then there's a lot more going on there. And that's our chain salutes. In addition to being able to do chains of salutes, another classic would be a finale chain. Let's just do that right now. Create new 3-inch variegated peony chain of 10. And get our finale chains coming in here. So that gives you a quick introduction to the abilities that Finale has in terms of creating shell simulations and effect simulations. These can all be combined using a variety of additional modifiers into cakes. That'll be the subject of another video. For more information on this, you can check out our website. There is a URL, if you read at the top of the screen here, that gives a complete description of the simulation language that we were using. It's on the top of the screen here, and that gives all the terms that are available for your use when creating animation search phrases. Alright, thank you for your time, and hopefully that was a good introduction to how you create shells in Finale.